Viewers, the battle lines are drawn and the stakes have never been higher. Welcome to the Election Premier League. 4 states in 1 union territory and 1 big verdict. And the entire nation is watching closely. From the heartland to the hustings, this is where the political contest is going to be shaped. Times Now is on ground zero with its biggest team of reporters bringing you every development, every shift and every key moment. We track the voters' pulse and we track the mood on the ground, and we bring to you the story as it unfolds. And joining us today are my colleagues from the poll-bound states. We have Dharini, we have Anamika, we have Hridita, as well as Arpita joining us live. Good evening to all of you. I'm just coming to each one of you in a bit. Let's first tell our viewers what's really happening in Assam first. Viewers, let's begin with the Brahmaputra battle, where the political currents have shifted sharply. Former Congress strongman Pradyut Bordoloi has crossed over to the BJP just weeks ago and has now filed his nomination on a new ticket. We caught up with the BJP leader soon after he filed his nomination, and here's what he expects from the elections.
Along with us, the prominent political leader, Pradyut Bordoloi ji. Pradyut Bordoloi ji, you have filed your nomination. I will come to this side because ma'am will be prominent then. And you have filed the nomination today. And we have seen Dispur versus Dispur. And
Dispur versus?
Dispur versus Dispur. And a very close friend of yours who will be contesting from Congress. And while we have seen she's a good friend, apart from the political debate, she's a good friend of yours. So how do you see these challenges?
No, it's quite exciting, and I don't know who you are talking about. I have...
You are smart enough to understand that, I know that.
I have contenders from other political parties, so I wish them luck because, we are fighting an election, and the people of Guwahati, especially the voters of Dispur constituency, in my case, will determine who they want as their, elected representative in the assembly.
And Pradyut, we have seen that the particular constituency, which is very new to you, do you think it will be a really challenging part for you to understand the constituency or to go ground to go out for
my job? See, I had been an MLA in Assam Assembly 4 times before, but I was, of course, representing a constituency from Upper Assam. And after that, I went to the Lok Sabha twice, elected. But now the Bharatiya Janata Party has given me the candidature of a very prestigious Dispur, the seat of power, especially the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. As you know, he's such an excellent organizer and an, leader, a very dynamic leader. So he has given me all support and guidance. The entire leadership is giving me a lot of support.
And viewers, we also spoke to former BJP MLA Siddharth Bhattacharya, who was denied a ticket from his constituency, with the party now picking Diplu Ranjan instead. A leader Bhattacharya himself mentored, striking a composed and ideological tone. Bhattacharya said his commitment to the BJP remains unwavering, even as he steps aside, calling power secondary and backing the party's decision. Listen in.
With us, very prominent leader, Siddharth Bhattacharya. Sir, you were here and the constituency which you are from, and the ticket has been given to somebody else, but you still are here and you came for the support of the BJP. So how you're feeling? Kya lag raha hai? Kaisa kya?
I entered BJP because I believe in certain ideology, and BJP reflected that ideology and it still does. As far as I am concerned, I have seen power from a very close angle. My father was the first non-Congress MLA from Guwahati in 1952. So power doesn't mean anything to me. I have seen so much of ups and downs in life. If the party wants me to give up and give the opportunity to somebody whom I have trained, Diplu Ranjan Sarma, he was my youth president when I was a state president. So I have trained him politics. I have trained him how to dress, how to talk, how to stand before the media.
Let's now go across to my colleague Anamika joining us live right now. Anamika, today was the last day of filing the nomination, a very, very important day for all the candidates. Now, this election is going to be very interesting because a lot of political heavyweights from Congress have moved to the Bharatiya Janata Party. So tell us a little bit about the contest there and how are people viewing this, shift that has taken place?
Well, first of all, very good evening to you. And as we have seen, there's multiple political developments ahead of the election. On 9th of April, all people will be celebrating the biggest festival of the democracy. And we have seen a major development, that is Dispur versus Dispur. And the particular contestant who is Meera Borthakur, who is from Congress, she came from BJP and it's 2017, long back, but now contesting on from the tickets of Congress and candidate of Congress, and will be contesting from the Dispur constituency, and eventually recently a shift from the Congress political party, that is Pradut Bodle. He have joined the party, BJP party, and he is contesting from Dispur itself. So it's like Dispur versus Dispur. So we have Ranjit Sharma along with us. Sir, if you could join us, and he is a very prominent spoker of BJP, spokesperson of BJP, senior BJP spokesperson. So first of all, thank you so much giving us your exclusive time. Sir, ये जो पूरा मुद्दा है दिसपुर वर्सेस दिसपुर फ्लावर पे, कैसा लग रहा है आपको? क्या लग मीरा बोरठाकुर ने काफी शार्प अटैक किया है और ये कहा गया है कि अगर जितना दिन उनको मतलब प्रद्युत बोदले को ये समझने में लगेगा कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी, उतना दिन तक मीरा बोरठाकुर जीत चुका होगा। आपको क्या लगता है, इसके बारे में क्या विचार है आपका?
मैंने समझने का बात है ही नहीं। दिसपुर ऐसा एक कंस्टिट्यूएंसी है जहां पर हर घर में भारतीय जनता पार्टी है, घर घर में भारतीय जनता पार्टी है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रेंथ है वो दिसपुर में मैक्सिमम है। एक बात तो है। दूसरा बात यह है कि प्रद्युत बरदोलोई भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कैंडिडेट है। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी का इशू नहीं, ये कांग्रेस का है। कांग्रेस को सोचना चाहिए, उन लोग के पास केवल 99 एमपी है, वहां से एक एमपी निकल के आ गया। मतलब आज का दिन में कांग्रेस असम के 3 एमपी में से एक एमपी उनका पीसीसी प्रेसिडेंट है, दूसरा एमपी मियां है, तीसरा एमपी जो था जिसका एक सेकुलर और न्यूट्रल फेस था, उसको वो लोग अपने पास नहीं रख पाए। दिस इज द बिगेस्ट फेलियर ऑफ कांग्रेस पार्टी in Assam politics. यह कांग्रेस का सबसे बड़ा फेलियर है। प्रद्युत बरदोलोई उनके पास नहीं है, इसीलिए कांग्रेस को जवाब देना चाहिए कि एक सेकुलर फेस हमारे पास क्यों नहीं है। ये कांग्रेस को जवाब देना चाहिए, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी को नहीं।
We have seen that Siddharth Bhattacharya, which we have mentioned, that previously the rumor was like that also, कि like उनको he haven't got the ticket, that's why he is upset with the party. But now we have seen he himself came into the nomination days and he has supported the BJP candidate who will be contesting from his constituency. So इसको किस प्रकार से देखते हैं आप?
माने देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी में क्या होता है कि हमारे यहाँ एंटी पार्टी एक्टिविटी में 99.9% कोई भी इन्वॉल्व नहीं होते। बहुत सारे लोगों को टिकट नहीं मिला। 2000 से ज्यादा लोगों ने एप्लीकेशन किया था, उसमें से केवल 89 लोगों को मिला है। तो 89 लोगों को मिला है तो दूसरा लोग पार्टी छोड़ के नहीं जा रहा है। 1-2 इकट्ठा लोग जा रहे हैं, उन लोग को जाने दीजिए। वो लोग ऐसे भी पार्टी में माने इन्वॉल्व अच्छा से नहीं हो रहे थे, ऐसे लोग जाने से कोई नुकसान नहीं है। लेकिन जब
essentially the sense we get is that BJP is quite confident, but of course the results are going to be out soon and people will be deciding the fate of Assam for the next 5 years. Thank you, Anamika, for the moment, for joining us and getting us that exclusive conversation. Let's now move on and take you to God's own country. Let's tell you what's happening in Kerala. I mean, a politically charged development ahead of the Kerala Assembly elections. K. Surendran has been fielded again by CPM. Now, this is very interesting. Surendran is a 3-time MLA and former Devaswam minister. He's seeking another term with the party banking on his strong electoral track record, including his victory in 2021. This contest is set to be a high-profile one, closely watched 3-cornered battle. Senior BJP leader and former Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan will take on the incumbent CPM MLA, aiming to improve the party's 29% vote share in the constituency from the last election. Meanwhile, the UDF has announced T. Sharat Chandra Prasad as the candidate, adding another layer of competition to the urban seat. Surendran has faced scrutiny in the past. In December 2025, he was questioned by a special investigation team regarding the Sabrimala gold theft case, which centers on the alleged misappropriation of temple gold during his tenure. Investigators have reportedly collected evidence, photos, with the prime accused, Uni Krishnan. Now, this is going to be a very interesting battle as well to watch out for. And speaking with Times Now, K. Surendran defended himself against the allegations related to the Sabrimala gold case. Listen in.
I'm being joined by Kadagambali Surendran, who is also a former minister of the LDF government, and also now he's contesting from Karakotam. Thank you for talking to Times Network. Sir, what BJP is saying is that they have fielded V. Muralidharan, and now they're very confident that they are going to win that seat. How do you see this?
ആത്മവിശ്വാസം എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ലതാണ്. ഒരു തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പിൽ മത്സരിക്കുമ്പോൾ സ്ഥാനാർത്ഥിക്ക് ഉണ്ടാകേണ്ട ആദ്യത്തെ ഗുണം താൻ ജയിക്കുമെന്ന ആത്മവിശ്വാസമാണ്. അത് മൂന്ന് പേർക്കും ഉണ്ടാകും. ജയിക്കുന്നതാരെന്നുള്ളത് തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പിന് ശേഷം നമുക്ക് തീരുമാനിക്കാം. ഈ നിയോജകമണ്ഡലത്തെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം കഴിഞ്ഞ 10 വർഷം മാത്രമല്ല, കഴിഞ്ഞ 4 പതിറ്റാണ്ടായി ഞാൻ ഈ മണ്ഡലത്തിനകത്ത് തന്നെയുണ്ട്. ഞാനിവിടെ ജനിച്ച് ഇവിടെ വളർന്ന് ഇവിടുത്തെ നാട്ടുകാരനായിട്ട് ഇവിടുത്തെ നാട്ടുകാരോടൊപ്പം ജീവിച്ച ഒരാളാണ്. രാഷ്ട്രീയ പ്രവർത്തകൻ എന്നുള്ള നിലയിലും MLA എന്നുള്ള നിലയിലും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ മന്ത്രി എന്നുള്ള നിലയിലും ഒക്കെ തന്നെ വളരെ വലിയ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ നടത്തിയെന്ന് ജനങ്ങൾക്ക് ബോധ്യമുള്ള ഒരാളാണ്. ഈ നാട്ടിലെ ജനങ്ങളുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ ഘട്ടങ്ങളിലും അവരുടെ സുഖദുഃഖങ്ങളിലൊക്കെ തന്നെ പങ്കാളിയായിട്ട് നിന്നിട്ടുള്ള പൊതുപ്രവർത്തകനാണ് ഞാൻ. ഞാനില്ലാത്തൊരു ദിവസം പോലും ഈ കഴിഞ്ഞ 10-20 വർഷത്തിനിടയിൽ ഈ മണ്ഡലം കടന്നു പോയിട്ടില്ല.
Meanwhile, Kerala BJP chief Rajiv Chandrasekhar reiterated that the BJP will come to power this time. Listen in.
ഈ രണ്ട് പാർട്ടി അവരുടെ നിലപാട് കഴിഞ്ഞ ഈ നമ്മുടെ രാഷ്ട്രീയ ചരിത്രത്തിൽ അവർ എന്തെല്ലാം ചെയ്തു ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ പറയാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നു. പക്ഷേ ഒന്നാമത്തെ കാര്യം അതായിരുന്നു. രണ്ടാമത്തെ കാര്യം, ഈ ലോക്കൽ ബോഡി ഇലക്ഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് കോൺഗ്രസ് ചെയ്തൊരു പ്രചരണം, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് 100 സീറ്റ് കിട്ടാൻ പോകുന്നു, 120 സീറ്റ് കിട്ടാൻ പോകുന്നു, 150 സീറ്റ് കിട്ടാൻ പോകുന്നു. പിന്നെ ആരോ പറഞ്ഞല്ല 140 സീറ്റേ ഉള്ളൂ. അപ്പൊ അത് മാറ്റി. അവർക്ക് കൃത്യമായി ഇപ്പൊ മനസ്സിലായിട്ടുണ്ട് അവർക്ക് അതൊന്നും കിട്ടാൻ പോകുന്നില്ല.
Now go across to my colleague Arpita joining us live right now for more on this. Arpita, BJP is quite confident that it is going to form the government this time in God's own country. But tell us a little bit about how important the Sabrimala gold theft issue this time is going to be for the voters when they decide.
Well, Sabrimala gold theft issue is at the talking point when we talk about elections, because Congress and BJP time and again they have been raising this issue. In fact, Kadagambali Surendran, who is contesting from Karakotam in Trivandrum, is one of BJP and Congress. They have been accusing him of very much involved in the gold theft case. In fact, SIT also had questioned him earlier, but what he said when we asked him about the election is that he is somebody who has been serving for the people since many years. People of Karakotam believe him. He doesn't have to steal anything from people. Yes, it is true that he was Devasam minister when this entire Sabrimala gold theft happened, but that doesn't mean that he's involved in this gold theft case, is what he has said. But on the other hand, BJP and Congress are hitting out at him, saying that if he had some shame, then he wouldn't be contesting from Karakotam again. He wouldn't be in fact contesting the elections itself. But clearly he doesn't have any shame, and that is why he has now decided to contest elections from Karakotam this time, is what Congress and BJP are claiming.
All right. Thank you very much, Arpita. Appreciate you joining us with your inputs on this particular story. Let's now move on and shift our focus to what's happening in West Bengal. Well, in West Bengal, the political landscape is shaping up for a fierce contest between the ruling TMC and the Bharatiya Janata Party. My colleague Kridita was in Bhawanipur, widely regarded as Mamata Banerjee's stronghold. While many expect the TMC to retain its dominance, there is growing sentiment among some that change may be imminent.
With the 2026 elections coming by, the Bhawanipur battle has already soared up the political air in West Bengal. Because at one side we see Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is contesting from her home ground seat, and on the other side, the leader of opposition Shubhendu Adhikari has challenged her from the Bhawanipur seat itself. At the this point, I am standing at Jagu Bazaar, which is situated in Bhawanipur and is one of the famous markets of Kolkata. This is situated under Ward 70 of the Bhawanipur constituency. We will just speak to the Janta Janardhan of Bhawanipur and get an understanding of what is Bhawanipur saying, which side is the political temperature this year going to be aligned to. Let's follow in the market and we'll speak to the people, the vendors who have been selling here. अच्छा सर, कितने सालों से आप इधर business कर रहे हो?
हमारा पैदाइश यहीं का।
तो आप भवानीपुर के रहने वाले हैं?
भवानीपुर के रहने वाले हैं।
तो 15 सालों से इधर सरकार चल रहा है, कितना उन्नयन आया है आपको लगता है?
वो सब बढ़िया ही चल रहा है और क्या।
सब बढ़िया है।
सब बढ़िया।
इस बार लग रहा है कौन सी साइड पे जाएगा, कुछ चेंज परिवर्तन
इसका
का
कोई
कुछ
परिवर्तन हम बोल नहीं सकते उसमें क्या हो। जो चल रहा बढ़िया ही चल रहा बस।
खुश है?
खुश है।
भवानीपुर
के रहने वाले हैं।
अरे वाह सर, कितने सालों से रह रहे इधर?
मेरा जन्म ही यहाँ का है, भवानीपुर का ही।
आप
Let's now go across to my colleague Hridita, who is joining us live at this point in time. Hridita, it's going to be round 2 of this very interesting battle between Mamta Banerjee and Shuvendu Adhikari from Nandigram. The battle has shifted to Bhawanipur.
Absolutely, you see that Bhawanipur is now the most high voltage seat because in 2021 we had seen that TMC had swept green in that area with about 58,000 votes. This entire area comprises of 2 lakh voters. Now in 2024 we have also seen that TMC backtrailed from 5 seats in that area, which is 63, 70, 71, 72 and 74. Mamta Banerjee herself is also a voter of this very area from the 73rd ward. But 77 remains to be a very deciding factor, which comprises majorly of the minority vote banks. Now this year, due to the SIR happening, a number of voters have been slashed down, which is the dead and duplicate voters. This has been slashed down, which might see in effects this year. We have also spoken to people and got an understanding that people are now looking out for a change. Not that this 15 years of has happened happily. Also in an internal meeting, we have seen Abhishek Banerjee setting the margin for Bhawanipur to be 60,000 and have said in the internal meeting that Bhawanipur should perform as a first boy. Now all eyes on 4th May on what people are going to choose and which side Bhawanipur will be.
Well, I'll say after seeing the results last time in Nandigram, this is definitely going to be a prestige battle for Chief Minister. Thank you, Hridita, for your inputs on the story. Let's now move on and shift our focus to what's happening in poll-bound Tamil Nadu. Perambur, a fortress seat in Chennai steeped in Dravidian legacy, is suddenly at the center of a political churn. Because this time, it's not just about the usual players. In fact, actor turned politician Vijay could actually make his big electoral debut from here, turning this into one of the most high-voltage battles of 2026. Dharini, my colleague, is now joining us in the broadcast for more on this. Dharini, how soon can we expect an announcement in this regard? Is Perambur in North Chennai going to be the seat for Vijay?
Well, on multiple occasions, TVK's General Secretary Adhav Arjuna has told that Vijay is very much interested in contesting from Perambur. And, generally, North Chennai is considered to be less developed in comparison with Central Chennai and South Chennai. So, Vijay might choose one of the 6 assembly seats in North Chennai, and it could more likely be Perambur, is what sources in TVK tell us. And they're very confident of victory. In fact, TVK believes that wherever Mr. Vijay contests, especially if it is an urban area, Vijay will definitely have a landslide victory, is what they believe. On the other hand, the DMK is of the opinion that Chennai is their fortress. All these 16 assembly constituencies in Chennai, it is all the DMK's fortress, and there is no way that Vijay is going to win an election from Chennai, is what they say on their end. And they're in fact welcoming Vijay to taste defeat. That is the reaction that we got from DMK spokesperson Saravanan.
All right, thank you very much, Dharini. Appreciate you joining us with all of those details. With this, we will slip into a very, very short break. Don't go anywhere. Breaking ground with Swati coming up next.